team, how's it going? Jujubear here, welcome back to the channel. Now today I got a pretty special battle for you. I'm facing up against Granitor. We got some Total War royalty on the channel here today. So Granitor, if you don't already know, runs the channel AVA. I don't know what that stands for actually, I should probably go and look that up. But very good player, won lots of tournaments, he's a very nice guy as well. And I'm going to be having a couple of battles coming up fairly soon with him involved. Namely, there's two quick battles that I just happened to come up across him in. And there's going to be a couple more where we're going to play kind of like a sub-commander's role thingo. So, facing up against a player who's got so many wins and who's so decorated and, you know, who has quite a good record, you're going to be a little bit intimidated, right? You're going to come into the game thinking, whoa, okay, I'm going to try and take everything that I can to win this match. So at the start of the match, he was like, hey, that's a nice hill you got there. And I was like, yeah, boy. And I'm absolutely going to camp the shit out of this hill. And what I've done is I've split my forces up into two, which was just a kind of straight up formation with the LUSITANI. Let me just put it into slow motion so I can introduce my army here. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 Balearic Slingers. Considerable skirmishing advantage. I've got 1, 2, I believe I have 5 Veteran Shield Warriors. If I can count. Yeah, there's going to be 5 in here somewhere. I've also got 2 Lusitani Nobles, 1 on each side. I've got a lot of Iberian Swordsmen. I believe I have... wait, no, maybe 2 of them. So just 2 Iberian Swordsmen. I got 2 Scutari Cavalry, and I've got 3 Iberian Swordsmen. Here's the other one. And I've got 3 Scutari Spearmen, 1, 2, and 3 over here. These Scutari Spearmen, excellent units. I'm in love. These guys have Precursor Javelins. They have a awesome bonus versus cavalry, bonus versus large, sorry, 20. They also have cavalry counter tactics and shield wall. So they're going to be fairly useful in this battle. Now, just looking over the top, let's see Granitor's build. He's got 2 Cappadocian Cav, Galatian Swords, Celtic Slingers, Galatian Swords, Galatian Legionnaires, Mercenary Syrian Archers, 4 more Galatian Legionnaires over here, and 1 Syrian Archer, a Noble Horse General, 2 Galatian Swords, and a Celtic Slinger. So pretty nice formation. He's kind of separated into 2, you know, very good infantry and skirmishing kind of portions of his line. And then out in the flanks, he's got these little flanking forces that can kind of support itself and work together. So I really liked his build. Now what you're going to see me do is camp the shit out of this hill. I ain't going to leave it, not for anything. Over on this flank, I can see that having such a wide formation like this means that he's kind of giving himself a bit of a hard time when it comes to supporting. So if I choose to just kind of rush this side, or if I choose to just rush this side, he can't really support because he doesn't really have that much cavalry to kind of get over there quickly enough to defend himself. So what I'm going to do is take that piece of information to my advantage. The way I do have my formation set up means that I can do that kind of thing. So with one hand, this left hand over here, I can kind of hit him over here. And with my right hand, I can pull back to the safety of the hill. What I'm doing at the moment is just holding back a whole bunch of the enemy units. So I've got Scutari Spearmen, Iberian Swordsmen, Balearic Slingers over here, fending off the Celtic Slinger. So as long as I can keep his Galatian Legionnaires busy, then I should be okay. And as long as I don't get outflanked, I should be okay. We'll see if that works out for me. So over here we got a bit of a skirmishing engagement happening. My Balearic Slingers are going to be shooting into, I believe, the Celtic Slingers. Don't know if that's a very good target or not, because these guys will soak up a lot of fire. But I just want to make sure that I have skirmishing advantage, or skirmishing domination over the battlefield for the rest of the match. He's pushing with his Galatian Swords, so I'm going to have to pull back, but I am in the woods, so I'm definitely not going to take too many losses in that engagement. Now, these are Galatian Swords. We're getting a bit ahead of themselves, so I was threatening with my Scutari Cav to kind of take them out fairly quickly. And I think it was like a little bit of a ploy to bait me into a charge. So you can see a couple of different units kind of pushing up to support. I do have my Scutari Spearman over here, just kind of keeping an eye on his Noble Horse. Up the back, he does have a Cappadocian Cav. I'm going to push him back with an Iberian Sword. And at this point, I'm going to pull back this whole force to the safety of the hill. And you can see just how far away this whole wing of his army is. So he's going to have to try and march them up to get into a better position. Now, it's a bit of a stare-off at this point. He's getting some good shots with his Celtic Slingers on my units. So I'm going to push them back with my own Scutari Spearmen. Eventually, I think better of it, and I'm going to pull my units back. So a little bit of a stalemate happening over on this flank here. I figure that I could knock him out pretty quickly with a whole bunch of units, but I don't want to give up my hill position just yet. I don't want to sit on it. I want to come down into the woods and down into these positions and kind of fight down on even-ish ground, I suppose. But yeah, my Scutari Cav are going to come down here and get a nice clean charge on these Galatian swords. It's going to knock down a whole bunch of them. At this point, I'm going to try and reinforce with my own swords. I got veteran shield warriors on the way. I left my Scutari Cav in for a little bit too long, though I do have the support on the way in the form of these Scutari Spearmen. Now, I just managed to see his noble horse wrapping around this flank, so I'm going to pull back my units, my horsemen and my Scutari Spearmen, and I'm going to keep them in reserve. So these veteran shield warriors successfully made it into combat without taking any charges or any javelins, which is great, because now they can start doing some killing. Up against the Galatian swords, they're going to make them pretty short work of those units. I was going to charge into his noble horse with my Scutari Spearmen, but he thought better of it and he's going to pull away, which is probably a good decision. He has lost one Galatian sword so far, and this Galatian legionnaire is taking some losses to my veteran shield warrior. I'm not really sure who's going to win out of that engagement. It'd be good to check the stats out, but of course I don't want to leave the action just yet. Lusitani Noble's getting nice downhill charge into these Galatian legionnaires, and my Iberian swordsmen are getting some nice flank shots into these Galatian legionnaires over here. Now you can see just how unimportant all these units are over here. They're just way too far away to support. Over here we're getting a nice downhill charge onto these Galatian legionnaires with Iberian swordsmen. I believe they were out of ammo, but I just want to make sure I can hold them down and keep them away from my Balearic slingers. So just a bit of a stalling tactic here. My Lusitani nobles just popped Battle Rhythm and Headhunt, so I'm going to start getting a lot of kills over here. What's the stats on that guy? 71 melee attack and 39 weapon damage. That's going to be pretty brutal on my opponent there. He is managing to destroy my Iberian swordsman, but I do have a lot of units in reserve, kind of holding back. I'm getting some nice shots with my Balearic slingers into something. I believe I was going to queue up those units over there. His noble horse does charge into my Scutari Cav. I do not get a counter charge, so that's going to work very well in his favor. He managed to catch a couple of my Scutari Spearmen, but I'm going to pull them away from that engagement and go after his noble horse. I did pop cavalry counter tactics, so as he pulls out, he's going to take a lot of losses from my Scutari Cav, which is great. I don't mind that at all. He has got a mercenary Cappadocian Cav in the rear that he was hiding in these trees, and very intelligent move from my opponent here. But I managed to get a couple of pretty good volleys there, and I'm going to finish them up fairly quickly. Iberian swordsman getting good shots in there, and I'm going to get my Scutari Cav and another veteran shield warrior into the rear of this Cappadocian Cav and finish him off. So he's going to support with Galatian swords. I'm going to get a nice rear charge into this Cappadocian Cav with my Scutari Spearmen. Cavalry counter tactics has worn off, so I'm not going to be having that. Not going to be enjoying that benefit. My Lusitani nobles are getting hacked apart from these Galatian legionnaires, but they're getting a lot of kills. 77 so far. Managed to destroy one Galatian legionnaire. These Lusitani nobles are going to be shredding this Galatian legionnaire there. Getting a nice downhill charge on these Galatian legionnaires also. So just using the terrain to my advantage. You might describe this as like dirty play, but man, against a player like Granador, I did not feel bad at all. He is, Granador is something else. I can tell you that. I've seen a lot of battles with him, and the man is very good at this game. Very good strategist. Very intelligent with his moves, but at the moment, there just really isn't any way to get around what I'm doing. I'm using this big rock to kind of lock out a large portion of the battlefield, and I'm using these woods to kind of stay under cover from his archers, and I'm returning fire with my Balearic slingers, and it's working out pretty well for me. These are veteran shield warriors finishing off one Galatian legionnaire, and he's bringing in another one. So he did have a lot of Galatian legionnaires. I think he had like 10 or something like that. My Scutari Cav getting into these Celtic slingers, but he's going to finish him off with the noble horse. Just trying to be annoying at this point. Lusitani Nobles, again, I've got the other one here finishing up this Galatian Legionnaire. I do have Veteran Shield Warrior getting ready to charge into this Galatian Legionnaire there. And I've also got, Scutari Spearmen in reserve, and I've got a couple of other units coming back from this fight down here. So it's all looking very well for me. It's all looking very good. These Iberian Swordsmen are going to get a nice couple of volleys into these units while they're fighting off this Scutari Spearmen. These Scutari Spearmen in, I think, what's the formation? They have Shield Wall. Are going to hold out for a very long time in that engagement, so going to work pretty well for me. Got my Lusitani Nobles finished off the enemy unit there, so I'm going to pull them back to the safety of the forest in just a second. Let's check out the stats of these here, because I actually don't know. 53, 36, 40, 40, so they have higher weapon damage, I have higher melee attack. Charge bonus is better on my units, melee defense is better on my units. Armor is actually way better on the Galatian Legionnaires, I suppose you would expect that. The health is higher on the Galatian Legionnaire, but the morale is better on the Veteran Shield Warrior, so I suppose they're pretty evenly matched all across the board. I managed to get my Spearmen into cavalry counter-tactics, and I'm going to pull down a couple of these Noble Horse while they pull them out. But my opponent's getting some fairly nice shots in here with his Celtic Slingers and Syrian Archers, so I think these guys are out of ammo, so they're going to come up against these Scutari Spearmen. So fighting right down to the last man, that's kind of just the mark of a good player, I suppose. He's finished off one Scutari Spearman. I'm going to pull back with my Balearics, and I'm going to send this Iberian Swordsman in. And I've got another stack just waiting. So I've got the another Scutari Spearman and another Iberian Swordsman getting ready to throw some javelins in. So he's kind of, it's taking him way too long to break through this this front here, even though he is doing it with a lot of different units. It's just taking a long time. And in that time, I'm using it to kind of finish off the rest of his Galatian Legionnaires and that kind of thing. So he is targeting my Lusitani Noble with his Syrian Archers. He's getting some very nice shots in there as well. And he's actually going to kill a lot of them, firing into the shielded flank. But these units don't really have a very good missile block chance, and they don't have the best armor either. So very good idea from my opponent here. And he is killing them very quickly. 31 men left in that unit. I should really be pulling that unit back to the safety of the forest, but I didn't actually notice what he was doing. So these Galatian Legionnaires finished off one of my Veteran Shield Warriors. And I'm going to have to pull my Lusitani Nobles into combat with these units, but I have managed to finish off one of his Legionnaires over there. And we've got a couple of units free down here in the woods. I do have Scutari Spearmen down here in the woods that are coming back from routing, and I'm going to chase off his Celtic Slinger. So that is pretty much the end of the game. Very, I lost one Balearic Slinger there, but a lot of them, they didn't really get heaps of kills actually. Oops, no, let's end that replay, here we go. So Lusitani Nobles getting lots of kills, but they did take a lot of losses there, especially at the end. The other Lusitani Noble got a lot of kills, double XP Chevron. Some of my Veteran Shield Warriors doing a great job. I only had 4 of them, XP ranked number 2, 239 kills, that's amazing, good stuff. My opponent here, he's Cappadocian Cav. I think I remember he mentioned at the end of the game that he was rushing, and I agree with him. He kind of he rushed in a couple of different units at different intervals. But that said, like he was choosing his engagements really well, and I probably would have botched it in the same scenario. So hats off to Granitor. We've got another battle coming up. Don't you worry, he got one up against me, so we'll see how that goes. But until then, we'll see you guys next time. This is Jujubear signing out. Peace.